As nuclear missiles become easier to make, the United States and NATO are prepared to take steps forward in missile defense to protect nations. How does missile defense work? Imagine a missile is being launched towards Kansas City from North Korea right now. The three stages of the missile are the boost phase, the mid-course phase, and the re-entry/terminal phase. During the boost phase, the rocket launches the warhead at high speeds above the atmosphere where in space the warhead travels freely. In the mid-course phase, the rocket disengages from the warhead, which is left to travel through space without guidance. During the re-entry/terminal phase, the warhead re-enters the atmosphere towards its target. When a missile launches, it releases a lot of heat. Satellites detect these heat signatures and alert tracking radars. A forward-based radar would also detect the threat missile launch. As the missile flies through the air, ground-based tracking radars and sea-based X radars would track the missile through the sky, measuring its velocity and trajectory. Through evolution and technology, most missiles have countermeasures against these trackers. The most common kinds of countermeasures include decoys, which confuse interceptor sensors, and cooled smoke shrouds, which can be used to lower the warhead's temperature. A country like North Korea would have access to both of these countermeasures. Upon verifying the missile's trajectory, the U.S. MDA, or Missile Defense Agency, would analyze the information and ready an interceptor missile. The interceptor missile consists of a three-stage booster rocket and a kill vehicle, which is what collides with the incoming missile. Once the trajectory of the incoming missile is calculated, an interception point is found. Near the interception point, the three-stage booster detaches from the kill vehicle, and the kill vehicle uses its sensors and small boosters to guide itself into colliding with the threat missile. Once it collides, hundreds of thousands of lives are saved. Here is a video found on YouTube describing and animating the whole process.
So what if a hostile missile was launched against a NATO nation? In this case, there would be only minutes to react. NATO's ballistic missile defense system uses networked sensors and interceptors that provide layered defense. Firstly, sensors detect the launch and constantly track the missile's flight. As the missile continues on its path, NATO's systems calculate its trajectory, evaluates the threat, and determines the best option for interception. NATO systems also provide warnings on the predicted impact areas to alert national authorities. Once the threat is pinpointed, the best-suited interceptor launches from sea or from land to neutralize the attacking missile, protecting NATO populations, territories, and forces.
We already talked about how it works, so let's talk about how it's important to the safety of the US and NATO. Threats from countries such as Iraq and North Korea are becoming more imminent, so missile defense is vital in making sure no missiles or warheads are able to sneak past our airspace and unleash their full potential of destroying entire cities. Missile defense systems are the only thing stopping these missiles. However, despite being able to protect our nation from complete destruction, they do have several downsides, such as being incredibly expensive. For example, some missile defense systems cost $400 million per unit. The U.S. has used over $40 billion since 2002 for missile defense, not counting the amount spent by all the nations of NATO. The Trump Organization has also requested almost $8 billion more due to the current threats from North Korea. Not only are these systems incredibly expensive, but if the U.S. greatly increases the number of these systems, some countries might view this as a threat, and tensions would rise between countries. Another disadvantage these systems have is that they are not 100% accurate, as there is a possibility that the interceptors miss altogether, which is not probable but possible, and if it did occur, it would have major effects, as another interception may not be able to be launched in time. Even if these systems do have their downsides, their benefits still outweigh the negatives, as there are no other options currently to prevent against missile threats. The US and NATO are currently improving and creating new technologies in missile defense that are capable of much more than missile defense systems are now. An example of this is the electromagnetic railguns the Navy is designing. These railguns would be stationed on carriers and destroyers, and possibly on land as well. Prototypes have been built and are currently able to hurl missile-looking projectiles that are not explosive at a whopping 5,000 miles an hour and over hundreds of miles. The Navy is working with a team of engineers to make these railguns smaller and able to make rotating motions. These railguns also take multiple minutes to reload and cool down, which needs to be improved upon greatly. Thank you for watching. We hope that you've learned a lot about missile defense systems.